Welcome. Happy first day of TPE. Woo! We are here. It's happening. We are excited. We are delighted to have everyone in this space today. May that be you right now at live time, or if you're watching a recording later on, we're thankful for you selecting TPE for this experience, and we cannot wait for this journey to begin today. If you're here today, you're here probably because you're looking for a candidate orientation. You're in the right place. If you're not here for a candidate orientation, that is okay. You can choose to stay and learn more about the candidate experience, or you can choose to leave, whatever floats your boat. Before we go into more context, information, questions about the candidate experience, I'm going to pass it to Brenda Ice, who's the current TPE chair, as well as Kirby, to share any messages and good thoughts that they would like to share with the rest of the candidate team.
Thank you, Christian, and welcome everyone. Today and this particular hour is meant for you, and so I do not plan to take up a lot of your time, except simply to say, as this year's TPE chair, welcome and thank you for choosing us as part of your career journey. You had tons of options available to you, including choosing not to participate with us, but I'm so very pleased that you have taken the opportunity to take advantage of our resources to learn from our esteemed committee and the opportunities that will be available to you, but more importantly, use our platform as a mechanism to advance your career in student affairs. I will be in and out throughout the week saying hello and available to answer any questions that you have, but I will turn it over now to Kirby because again, this is about you and not necessarily about me. Welcome, thank you, and appreciate you being a part of the journey with us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to echo the sentiments of our wonderful TPE chair for participating in what this week is going to bring to you and after that, right? Because TPE is a 365 day experience. As you all are navigating this week, I just want to leave you all with a little bit of an encouragement. We recognize that there are lots of emotions and feelings that may be going into this week, but want to make sure that you all are centering joy in this moment, right? Thinking about the ways of things that help you stay grounded, thinking about the people that help you stay grounded and connected, meet new people, make new friends, and of course, making sure to take care of yourselves. As Brenda has shared before, you'll have the opportunity to interact with myself and the rest of the TPE committee throughout the rest of the week. And so making sure to do so and looking forward to connecting with you all. So thank you.
Thank you, Brenda and Kirby. So you heard it. Make the most of this experience. We're going to answer some questions, provide some guidance, and let's get this show on the road. To give a little context of what today is going to look like, you can think about it in 3 different buckets. So the first one is going to be the welcome, the resources. So you heard a little bit about the welcome, and then we're going to talk a little bit about who we are as individuals. So Nick and I, as the current TPE co-chairs for candidate development, we're going to talk about what is our role in this space. So as we have a week together, it's not just a week, as Kirby said, it's 365. So how we'll show up in this week, but also beyond TPE. We're going to give reminders about the scheduler, as well as where you can find assistance. And then the second session, we'll talk about opportunities. So everything from candidate coaching to table discussions and even engaging with us in social media. And then lastly, close it out with tips. This is your journey and your experience. And so we want to make sure you feel prepared. And then I'll pass it to Nick for introductions.
So my name is Nick Bates, Assistant Director of Thurman Center Networks at Boston University in the Howard Thurman Center for Common Ground. And I have the extreme pleasure to be working with Christian, who will introduce himself.
The pleasure has been all mine, the dynamic duo. My name is Christian Rafael Suero, he, him, his. I am a current Assistant Director for Staff Development, Engagement, and Onboarding at George Mason University. And that just means I train and support our professional staff. So thinking about this presentation and this session, we went with a visual. And for those who may not have access to the screen, it's a photo from Alice in Wonderland, and she's in the fork of the road, and there's a lot of signs everywhere. And the reason why this photo was chosen is because it's very possible many people feel that way right now. in terms of where do I go, may that be my personal life. I'm looking for opportunities, I'm speaking with employers, and I'm beginning this new journey, to even those who are here just for the professional development experience and excited to take part of all our workshops. We know people are coming from different backgrounds, different experiences, and different walks of life. And so overall, what we want everyone to walk away with is knowing that we're here to provide that resource and guidance to you. While it might feel like a lonely experience if you're here by yourself, you're never truly alone in this experience. You have Nick and I, and as well as our whole team of committee members that are here to support and guide you. And so just keep that in mind as you're navigating this experience of TPE virtual, that yes, will you be in that interview space? And Nick and I won't be there physically or virtually? Absolutely. But if you ever need support through your resume, coaching, or etc., let us know, and we're here for you. And I'll pass it to Nick to talk a little bit about scheduling.
Yeah, so all scheduling will be done through the TPE website. You'll have to log in using your username, your password, things that you are already familiar with. Once you have scheduled your particular interview with an employer, your employer will then send you whatever specific link that you need for the platform that you all will use for your interview, whether that be Zoom or Microsoft Teams or something else like WebEx again. And the reminder that all event times are in Eastern Standard Time. So all event times are in Eastern Standard Time. And in the event that you are struggling with anything with interview scheduling, there will be a virtual chat box on the website as well that you can use, and someone from our TPE team will answer any of your inquiries as well. And this is a reminder too as well, for those who have questions, you can use the Q&A function within Zoom to submit any questions that you may have. So this is about a candidate workroom, virtual hours. We're going to have those hours as they're listed up on the slide here as well. And we'll also have the chat box, which I mentioned earlier, which is called the CRISP customer service chat. We will be answering questions via that chat box as well. And then here are all the times for the candidate virtual workroom. This is a space where you could be in community with other candidates. You could speak with someone from the committee. This is the space that is designed to debrief you or relax you post or pre any of your scheduled interview events. But it is a communal space. Be a reminder, if needed, we are able to provide breakout spaces for you all to just have another meeting with someone from the committee. Additionally, we will mention this later, but we also offer candidate coaching as well. There we go. So candidate coaching will be on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You can sign up for a 20-minute or 30-minute session via candidate coaching. Again, we ask that you do so 2 hours in advance of your coaching session, just for giving us the ability to notify your potential coach as well. These times will be from on Wednesday and Thursday will be from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Friday will be from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. The slots are first come, first serve, and an email will be sent with the Zoom/virtual room information prior to the session. Here you will see the link where you can sign up. Additionally, the link should have been sent out to you in the daily newsletter as well. So you have this information in your email for easy access. And there's a question that can the URL be shared? Yeah, we can throw it in the chat for you really quickly. Additionally, it should go out. It should have gone out as well in your the TPE newsletter emails that you all get daily regarding the event. Roundtable discussions are every day at 2 p.m. As you can see on our slide deck, we have different topics. Today's topic is I received a job through TPE and it wasn't housing. So there's a popular misconception that all of the jobs at TPE are housing related, and that's absolutely untrue. Statistically speaking, we do have 50% of our jobs that are not housing related, but we also want to offer you a personal perspective from two former TPE candidates who actually attended TPE interview for non-housing related jobs and received jobs from TPE related to their functional area as well. And also make sure you engage us through social media. You can find us on Instagram at the Placement Exchange and on Twitter at TPE365. Please use these spaces to share some of your success stories. to share community with other candidates, whether you want to post an inspirational message, et cetera, please use those social media chats to inform us of that. It will increase the community that you all get to participate in, but it also will bring a smile to our face to see your joyous, whether it be your interview outfits or the inspiration that you needed to get your day started as you prepare. All of these things will be great to share with our social media channels as well. And I'll turn it back over to Christian. And we have a lot of chatter in there. Thank you, Dr. Fox, for sharing the candidate coaching link. And let's see, are there any other questions in the moment?
Yeah, there's one that came in about, these are all great questions. One that came in about, is there any space for candidates to meet, to be nervous and network with one another? Yes, there is a networking opportunity. And as Nick just mentioned about the candidate and coaching opportunities, leverage that space to have someone as your sounding board, right? So if you are worried about your resume, your cover letter, your interview, or even after an interview, make sure you're signing up for those times. It's first come, first serve. So if you haven't already, go to that email or go to the link that was just thrown in the chat to schedule a time. And we'll also share more information about the networking of candidates momentarily. Thank you, Kirby. So as part of tips, again, this is your time and we want to give you resources so you're successful in this space. So the first thing is your schedule. So whether it be maximizing the schedule within the TPE platform or in addition to that, having your own planner, I have 3, making sure you know what your day looks like. And so especially with individuals from different time zones, knowing that things are set up in Eastern time zone, just make sure you know when you wake up for today, you know exactly where you need to go, you have your links, and you're ready for that. When you feel prepared in terms of what you're doing day to day, it alleviates some of that nerves and some of that anxiety about, oh my gosh, when's my next interview, where I need to go. So make sure you're taking time, whether it be the day before or early enough before your day starts, to map out exactly what your schedule looks like. Talked about time zones, just be aware of time zones. No matter where you are, make sure that whether it be an employer or even your own clock, ensuring that everything's aligning with the specific time zone. I forget this, but I did this before the session. Make sure you're grabbing meals, make sure you're grabbing water. It's very easy for us when we're constantly on the go to forget about the things physically that can help us in this space, like food and water. So make sure that you're creating time to have your water, tea, or your coffee next to you. If you can, and again, it depends on the employer and your opportunities, try your best to avoid back-to-back interviews, but that's depending on what your schedule looks like. Making sure you just have enough time to breathe, to process, and to walk away if you have to walk away and think a little bit, or to prepare for your interviews. And then overall, this goes back to what we shared earlier. Consider where you want to begin and consider where you want to end your day. For me, when I begin the day, is set out my goals and know how I want to show up in spaces. And then at the end of the day, I always reflect. So communication, we're in a virtual setting, and this would not change if we were in person. So when you're thinking about communicating with employers or even communicating with colleagues or us in this space, make sure that you are responding in a timely manner, right? So if I reach out to you to do an interview and you don't reply to that email, okay, keep that in mind that you didn't reply to that email. Or if you need support and assistance, may that be with employers or even with us, making sure you have key information in that in that email, right? May that be your candidate number, the position, or the specific problem or challenge that you're experiencing. And it's not always about problems and challenges. If there's something that went well that you want to let us know, let us know. When you are meeting with individuals, it's often practice and good forum. People will like to send out thank yous. And so know that you should not be weighed any differently than any other candidate if you don't say thank you in an interview, but follow up and do say thank you. People have taken the time and energy to know you. And a little tip that I always share with people, if you can remember specifically what a person said in the space, write it down and include that in your thank you. Ask questions as much as they're interviewing you about an opportunity, you're also interviewing them. It's like a relationship. And what I always tell people is you don't want to go in blind. And so when you're in this space, make sure you're doing the best of your ability to understand everything about the institution or department. And when you're doing your homework, reach out, think of the things that are sticking out there, like, oh, I would love to learn more about this, or, oh, this seems interesting, I want to inquire about that. Do not go to an interview without any questions. Make sure you go prepared with at least 1 or 2 questions so it shows that you're engaged and you're inviting them to your table as well. Inquire about next steps. So TPE is about 5 days, and full transparency, this process in terms of positions and interviews will probably go beyond TPE. And I say probably, but most likely will. And so when you're thinking about your interviews and your next steps and your next chapter, ask them about the timeline. Ask them what to expect after this experience. The more information you have, the better you are off when it comes to your next transitional step. And be honest, be transparent. We're in this virtual space where we're all managing different things. May that be life, school, partners, pets, and in a world where we're all now fitting in just one box and one screen, it's very important to keep in mind that there are things happening outside of the screen. And so whatever you need to do, just always remember to be authentic and to always be honest and transparent if you are experiencing any difficulties or challenges. I've shared this a little bit already, but again, TPE right now is 5 days. But as Kirby said earlier in her opening, professional development and TPE is 365. And so as you're thinking about opportunities and using the TPE job posting site, it doesn't stop on Friday. Keep applying, keep looking for opportunities, and keep engaging. One thing Nick and I will also let people know is that there's opportunities for professional development with candidates beyond just TPE. We've been doing workshops before this as well. So make sure that you are engaging and getting the most that you can in your own development, because professional development is personal development. And if you're interested, just let us know. We're happy to send more information. And before we go to our last slide, the last thing is about self-care. And I think that's been like an underlining message throughout this whole experience, whether it be resources that you have, meeting with coaches, engaging in opportunities. Self-care is what's gonna push you through this experience well. And if you don't take care of yourself, you may not show up the best, or you may feel burned out at the end of this experience. And so schedule breaks. As you're mapping out what your day looks like, see where you can take time for yourself. May that be to get water, walk away, go outside, or just play video games. Whatever you need to do to engage in your well-being. Nurture your body and nurture your mind. If you need water, if you need food, you need to make sure your body will tell you when it's tired. Listen to your body and don't overexert yourself in spaces. Believe it or not, it will show up. If you're feeling tired, it may show up in your answer. So make sure you're nurturing your body and your spirit. In terms of a hype song, Nick, do you have a hype song?
I don't have a hype song. I have a song that makes me feel amazing. If that works for you, there's a Rick Ross song called Maybach Music 3. I feel like royalty when I hear that song.
I have 2 hype songs. One is Thank You Next by Ariana Grande, especially when things are like so uncertain. I'm like, thank you, great experience, on to the next one. But also Legally Blonde, the musical, random fact, is my hype song. So whatever you need to feel energy, whatever you need to feel good about walking into a space, please get that song and please play it. I listen to Thank You Next all the time before interviews, and then I know no matter what is for me won't pass me. So whatever your song is, make sure you have that on repeat and ready to go. Check in with friends, peers, and mentors. Nick and I are here as a resource. We absolutely are, and so will the other coaches and people who are volunteering. But if you have anyone that you can go to outside of us to create that larger support network and lifeline, that will be great for you. Again, this does not have to be a lonely and alone experience. You have people who care for you. And so just make sure you're identifying those friends or peers or even family members that you can rely on. And engage in reflection, right? Well, we have a session about rejection this week, but we learn from our mistakes and we also learn from our successes. And so just make sure you're taking the time to understand how you are going through this process and how you're engaging in all the opportunities. I want to pass it to Nick.
I actually want to take this time to answer some questions that are in the Q&A. The first question that I'm going to answer is, for our individual schedule settings, are we only able to edit Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays? Those are the only days I'm able to edit. So the answer to that question is that for you as a candidate, the only days where you will have interviews are Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays related to TPE. Mondays and Tuesdays, we simply have resources available for you to view, such as our candidate roundtables or our employer roundtables. So that's the specific reason why you're not able to edit anything on Monday and Tuesday. Is because the only thing that you would need to edit are your interview schedule specifically, and interviews are on Wednesday through Friday. Let's see. What's the appropriate, I'll answer another question live. What's the appropriate amount of time to wait after the interview before sending a thank you card? I'm going to say this is up to your discretion. Whatever you feel most comfortable with. I would say give yourself some time to reflect on that interview. It always helps if you write a couple notes after an interview, so you have something to remember to write for your particular thank you email. If you have a few interviews in one day, all of that information can merge together at times. So make sure you take some notes related to the thank you email that you want to write as well. And I believe, Kirby, you wanted to share something.
I was just going to go back to the previous question that was asked about with the schedule. You can add like breaks and block time on your schedule as well on those 3 days. If you're looking to manage your schedule with additional things throughout the rest of the week, particularly for that Monday and Tuesday, some folks may decide to use whatever personal clients that they want to use as well. But the TPE schedule itself, as Nick has brought up before, is really for the interview scheduling and any other blocks of time that you may put there.
Another question to answer live. Will this recording be available, and will other sessions be recorded as well? All of our TPE webinars, that includes Jumpstart, that includes some of the things that we've been doing leading up to TPE, they're all available on the TPE YouTube channel. So you can see that. All of our candidate roundtable sessions will be recorded. This session is being recorded and will also be made available on the YouTube channel as well. Let's see, other questions to answer live. Here we go. If you haven't gotten interviews yet, be patient, I would say, or if you're interested in specific institutions, reach out to those institutions indicating your interest for interviewing. You can do all of those things through the TPE website by finding their particular position ID, and you can indicate interest by either using the scheduling system to send them an email. And those are ways that you can indicate some interest to get some interviews if you haven't gotten them yet. And also, I would say be patient with yourself, realizing that you may see some positions that you're interested in on the TPE website, and you may get some interviews here, but you also may have interviews after this event is done. And so, don't put too much pressure on yourself to make sure that every interview you have related to your job search is here at TPE. It just may not work out that way. We have a lot of questions coming in. Christian, you see any questions that you want to answer in particular?
Yeah, thank you so much, Nick. So one question that came in was, I reached out to an employer, but have not heard back, or we're in the process of scheduling. So what I would tell anyone is, if you've reached out to them, two scenarios. If you're interested in an opportunity, you've reached out to them but haven't heard back, give it a moment, let them reply back to you. If you are scheduling an interview and haven't heard back, just send a follow-up email. It's possible that it was quickly overlooked, but whatever, do like follow up if it's been a significant amount of time and you haven't heard back. There is another question that came in about cover letters. For cover letters, is it best to write one for every position we are interested in, or a generic one? Is that okay to use? So what I would tell people in this space is you want to be a little bit specific. It's okay to have a template with your cover letter, but make sure that when you're applying for specific institutions and specific roles, you're really pulling out the themes and the qualifications they're asking for, right? So it's okay to have a skeleton of a good cover letter. Like I have a skeleton, but when I am filling it out, I make sure that I'm pulling specific themes, keywords, specific roles and jobs that I have done that speaks to the job. If you're just copying and pasting the same thing over and over again, you might be overlooking some of the details that you should be including to elevate your candidacy. We'll also share out the link to our YouTube. We have a number of workshops that talk about resumes, cover letters, navigating the whole dashboard as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Nick, and just pull those links and throw it in the chat for folks. Is that okay?
Yep.
Awesome.
That works. And so, okay. Let's see, there's a question. How can I edit my schedule? And for those folks that have any questions related to viewing your schedule, navigating your schedule, making events in your schedule, blocking out time, we did do a TPE candidate specific session, which is available on YouTube, and Christian is going to share the link, where we speak directly about how to navigate the TPE website. And we actually screen share and walk you through navigating the website. And so for those folks who do have all of those questions related to that, many of those questions are answered in that particular YouTube video. Yes, Christian, you have a question.
Yeah, and I also say, for those who are also visual learners, not just audio learners, in the email sent out today, there's a link to the navigating the website guidebook, which is a Q&A. So just make sure you're looking at all the resources around you too that we're sending out every day. And I'm throwing the links right now.
There's a question about what are the institutional roundtables going to look like, and how is it going to be set up? And I would ask if Brenda or Kirby could answer this question.
Hi, yes. So if you're referring to the institutional spotlights, this would be an opportunity for the campuses that have signed up and will be just basically presenting who they are as an institution. Gone are the days for us to be able to have socials where you could go and interact and learn more about the team, the institution, the positions. That this is just another way that TPE is trying to assist employers with their brand and reaching a wider audience. And so that is what the intent is for as we created them. And then give kind of license to each individual institution to then shape what their overall presentation will look like. This is not meant to be an interview or a group interview setting. It is more of you just getting to know the institution and to be able to pop into those spaces and learn more about them and the positions that they have available.
Thank you, Dean Ice. Are there other questions that we have? Thank you, Christian, for sharing all of the different links in the chat as well. Is there a place that we can access all of the Zoom links for TPE sponsor session? Each day, TPE will actually send out a newsletter with important information for candidates. We will include those links for different Zoom sessions in that email. Additionally, an email was sent out today giving you a highlight of the candidate roundtables for the week, and they have links in that email as well.
I'm also sharing my screen real quick so folks can see it. If you log into your profile, you'll get to your profile page here. Here you'll see on your dashboard, it'll say TPE virtual event links, and it'll have a variety of different links listed there. This will be updated daily throughout the week with respective links, because there are some things that don't start until certain days. And so they'll be posted here. If you also scroll down, you'll be able to see the event schedule, and it lists various things that are happening today and throughout the week, and have links for you to register or join. So that's where you'll be able to find some of these links as well.
Great question. Great. Thank you, Kirby, for answering that. And I have a question for you related to that. If I am booking an interview as a candidate, are other institutions able to see who I've booked my interviews with?
No, so institutions are the only ones that can add interviews to your schedule. It's not the other way around. And the only thing that institutions will see on their end is the times in which there's mutual availability. And so if you have some things blocked off on your calendar, as well as other interviews scheduled, they won't be able to see any of those details.
Related to interview scheduling as well, when do employers typically schedule interviews during TPE? Are they done scheduling interviews for this week, or could we still hear back?
That is subject, it varies. It can happen at any time throughout this week. We have some employers that are just registering to participate in the event daily. And so there'll be new institutions and postings that are added as well. And so they may reach out to you. As you shared earlier, Nick, you have the opportunity to also reach out to institutions as well to express interest. And so it varies across the board. Folks are doing scheduling as they are able. We do encourage you and to keep in mind that we have institutions that are participating in this initiative, in this program across the world. And so interview times may vary as well. So wanting you all to be aware of that too.
If I can add before you jump to the next question, Nick, is that then there are some employers who have posted positions but do not intend to actually interview. And we have encouraged some employers to do that so that they have access to you as potential candidates and thinking about the whole pool of individuals for their positions. And in those instances, it's likely that they haven't received proper authorization from HR or still waiting to figure out what the budgets are going to look like, but they didn't want to miss an opportunity to at least have greater exposure to the TPE candidates in the pool and the resources. And so you may find yourself interested in X institution and then discover later that they just simply, the reason they haven't reached out or scheduled an interview is they're waiting to get budget approval to actually move forward with that process.
Thank you, Dean Nice. And I think this is also related to Dean Nice's point. Is it inappropriate / off-putting to reach out again after applying if we haven't heard? And there's also a question that this related to this is I've reached out to a few institutions through the apply now button and had the copy box checked, but I didn't get a copy of it. Should I be worried that the employer didn't get it either?
Don't think you should be worried. And I think the what you have to think about is the time is relative. Did you send it yesterday and you didn't get it this morning? Or did you send it last week and today you still haven't heard? So think about the time lapse of how you're pushing through the messages. If it's been more than 3 days, I might encourage you to just send a follow-up email and say, TP has begun and I want to make sure that I have space available to speak with you as I am still interested in your position. If it's been 3 hours, sit patiently, go get a cup of coffee and come back and maybe the email will be there when you get there. And so that should be helpful in kind of framing your interest in when to reach out.
And the technology sometimes does not work in our favor, no matter how great it may be. And so Kirsten put in the chat as well, check your spam folders, your junk folders, things like that. Sometimes the copies end up there. I would not fret, do a little digging and know that your hard work is potentially lingering in a spam folder.
Let's see. We've gotten through a lot of these. Just joined TPE today looking for new work possibilities. Where do I post my CV and my profile? I'm going to refer you all again to the YouTube channel, the event that we did on navigating the TPE website specifically. That can greatly help you with that as well. And Christian has posted those links in the chat. And another scheduling question on my dashboard, again, that really walks you all through. And it's not that we don't want to answer your question about this. It's just we realize that it would take up a lot of time for us to really get in detail to answer this, but it was answered in that YouTube video as well. I'm trying to get to as many questions as we possibly can. Are there any opportunities to network with employers virtually during this week? Last that I checked, I don't think we have a employer networking thing. Kirby, you're turning on your
So so there are, as we mentioned earlier, there are a couple of institutional spotlights that are being featured this week for as an opportunity to connect with those institutions that are being spotlighted. There are, and I would say also institutions would indicate any other additional ways of being able to connect with folks as well. We do have the virtual solution station room. There are employer workrooms for employers, there are candidate workrooms for candidates and so forth. But I would also encourage folks to ask the institutions in which you all are interviewing with for additional opportunities of connection.
First time TPE attendee here. Will there be any more TPE events like this later in the year? I think that is sort of up in the air. We will definitely still be providing resources to you all as TPE is 365. So we will have more webinars, more story shorts, more Jumpstart related or type of things throughout the year, because we will be continuing our work beyond the TPE virtual conference. Now the schedule question, I'm going to defer you all to, again, that event, that webinar link on YouTube. You really can get a lot of your scheduled questions answered there. I may be totally overlooking it on the email/dashboard, but where is the candidate workroom link info? If it is not on your TPE dashboard schedule, is one of those links. I believe all of the roundtable information is there that Kirby just showed us, as well as other links. But if not, we'll make sure that you have updates to that question via the newsletter as well.
That was addressed, I think, in Kirby's messaging, that it'll show up on the day that it's actually available. So the workroom obviously isn't a space that is active until we get into the interview process. And so that's when you'd have access to those links.
Do I or should I confirm or communicate back with an employer when they schedule an interview on the TPE schedule? If so, what is the best way to communicate back?
So employers should be communicating with you throughout this entire process. So we have been very adamant of letting employers know that they shouldn't just be putting interviews on your schedule without you knowing. We do acknowledge that that sometimes happens. In the event that that does happen, feel free to reach back out to that employer. Thank them for their interest and express or indicate whether or not you would like to participate in that interview or not. That is totally okay, but we are doing our best on our end as well to ensure that employers are making sure that they are communicating with you consistently about when they're scheduling interviews, how to participate in said interview, next steps within those processes and things like that. You are also able to follow up with them as well if you have any questions about their process and scheduling too.
When we input personal events into the TPE schedule, do we put those in our personal time zone, or do we need to put it in Eastern Standard Time? The answer to that question is yes. All of the TPE schedule related things are in Eastern Standard Time. And so if that's when your event, you need to make sure your availability is reflective of Eastern Standard Time. So that will be the sort of grounding foundation that all employers and us as a TPE team will be going by. Okay, I think we have 8 questions left. What is the best way to use the website to schedule? I've been struggling with how to use the website more effectively. I have one interview schedule. Again, I'm going to defer you to that webinar video of us walking you through the TPE website for candidates. Let's see, is there a way to be able to put the candidate workrooms on the schedule? We've already answered a variation of that question. First time TPE, we've answered this. Okay. I have an interview from an institute, but they did not add the interview to my schedule on the TPE site. Should I put a personal event during those times so I don't get double booked?
It could be just a delay in them getting on the schedule.
Yeah.
And so we would just encourage you to follow up with the institutions just to confirm that that's the time in which you are hoping to have an interview with them, and they can go ahead and get that put on the schedule. Because if you put a block of time on the schedule before they even get it there, then they won't be able to actually do so. And so you want to make sure just to follow up so they can add that there.
Is it off-putting to tell each employer you are highly interested in each of their positions if you are applying to multiple positions at the same school? And so if I understand this correctly, that there are 2 positions at one institution, but there are 2 different entities or 2 different employers for those 2 different positions. Is it off-putting? So I think you have to evaluate what your end goal is before you do that. I think that's the best advice I can give to that. And so I guess, what is your purpose for telling them, right? What did that idea or thought originate from? I think that's what you need to evaluate as well. If I were you, I recommend that you interview as you feel comfortable and make your decision based on how you felt in those interviews. But I would caution you to think a little bit more broadly as what's your end as you get asked that question. Are there others that would like to chime in on that?
I would just say highly interested just is fine. Just be prepared if that same institution talks and says, oh, they also said highly interested in mine, and then just be able to talk through that. So.
All right, I think that is good. I think that's all of the questions. I think that people do talk at institutions.
I know that there's a lot of questions with regard. So a few questions came in about some of the technical aspects of the website and scheduling and things like that. I know there also are questions for folks specifically about your own experiences and what you're looking for and how to navigate that throughout this week. We highly encourage that you participate in a number of the different sessions that we will be offering this week, as Nick and Christian has shared before, that'll get at some of these things. It'll get at rejection. It'll get at the next steps in the interview process. It'll talk about like the first 90 days of your being on the job. And so we recognize that there are a lot of emotions that are tied to that. And so encourage you to check out those opportunities. And as we have plugged multiple times, our YouTube channel has lots of really great content as well that goes over some of these things that date back to some previous TPE events as well. And also want you all to come visit us in the virtual workrooms that we have, the virtual solution stations and so forth, to get some of those answers, those questions answered there as well.
There is a lengthier question about years of experience, worked somewhere else, and now switching to student affairs. I would ask that you send an email to Christian and I, and we can answer your question via email. Other than that, I think we have answered almost as many questions that we can, and we are coming up on time as well. And so if you do have any additional questions, feel free to send them to Christian and I, or you can send them to info@theplacementexchange.org as well. Christian, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
I was writing this in the chat. This has been like the most quiet I've been because I was trying to answer all the questions, but again, this could be a new experience for some folks, and it as Nick said, you can be carrying a lot of emotions, may that be excitement, nerves, uncertainty. You're not in this alone. I'll keep saying that till we log off today. And so if you do need anything, reach out to Nick and I'll throw my information in the chat, but know you're not alone, and maximize all these experiences and resources that are going to be given to you. So make sure you're checking your email, go to our website, review the Q&A, go to our YouTube, and maximize that wealth of knowledge that has been created for you as not only as a customer, but as a candidate in the space.
thank you all for being here. And I would like to say good luck, whether it is good luck on interviewing or if it's good luck on making new connections, or if it's good luck on learning some more resources related to higher education or the job search in general. Good luck, and we're happy to answer more questions via email or via the chat box function as well. Thank you all for attending our candidate orientation.